Pretty awesome, not that. All right, Casey, here we go. Boom.
Yes.
Look at this. This is going to be one for the books here. We got Frank. We got, both Brennis's. We've got Sean Kim and the mysterious Landry Peterson waiting to be unveiled.
Good one.
Right? Refuses to be pictured. There are some people that just don't like to be photographed. And I think you have to respect that.
It's privacy, you know?
There are privacy issues and we all need to adhere to them, Frank. Is Landry going to have like the face blurred out and the weird voice? Like it's
voice blurred out.
Hey, I'm here.
There you are, buddy.
I need to see here what we got. Okay, there we go. All right, there's Landry.
Looks like I should have got a picture over, apparently. So
you got to get a picture. Anytime that somebody's on here and they don't have a picture of us, we're going to make fun big time. So, all right, let's get this party started. First up, top 10 new writers for the week. Iwana Mellinger, 9,144. Iwana Mellinger.
Nice job, Iwana.
Good job, Iwana. There's a newspaper in Asheville called the Iwana.
Yeah, some of my first recruits in this business came from the Iwana. That's
right. I got a recruit from the Iwana. I also found that recruiter I had that showed up with a parrot on her shoulder from the Iwana.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
And the lady with the glasses.
That was your agent.
What about the one that wore 3D glasses to the sales meeting? Where'd you find him?
No, that was also your agent, and he ended up suing Rack Room Shoes.
It's not my agent.
This is why we got into recruiting so early, because there's so many characters you run across, Frank, right? Like there was this agent, he actually wasn't in either of ours, and he was a pretty good salesperson. He would come in at that time good because he was writing like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in production a week. We're like, man, this guy's killing it. And then it turns out that he's this real weird dude. He was patenting these glasses that were like 3D glasses that you would wear everywhere, I guess. And he was in a lawsuit with Rack Room Shoes. Remember that?
Yeah.
He was suing Rack Room.
We met some characters.
Some characters for sure. Yeah. John Perez, Scott Forehand, and Jen Swigert, all kicking major butt. Jen doing the most of it this week, though. Congratulations, Jen. $38,379.
Brandon, look at that top 10. You got 16 grand to break the top 10 last week. That's crazy.
This is crazy. These numbers. There's Landry. Well timed, Landry.
Well timed, buddy. Top 10.
That's right. Jennifer Giovanni just like doubled the field. She lapped the second place person. I'm sorry, John Perez, but Jennifer went out and picked up 37 applications. Karen Cox picked up 1. That's all you need, though, to be the number 1 Medicare sup writer for the week.
Right
Rob
now.
Puckett. Look at there. Puckett picking up some DI. Top IUL producer was Norma Jordan Back, $20,000. Way to go. Good week by Eric Placencia, too. 18,000. Not bad. Top annuities for the week. Scott Forehand is on this board every single week, as is Jen Swigert. But look at Landry Peterson. Landry, we're going to put you on the spotlight real quick. $646,000 annuity in 15 seconds or more. How was it uncovered?
It was a cash value of a whole life policy. They've been paying $2,200 a month for 16 years, and they're getting close to retirement. And so they wanted to start a lifetime income.
Lead or natural market?
Natural market.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
They're all over the place.
They are. They're among us.
They're all around us.
Right now, I'm just going to tell you, with interest rates going up, you just need to start asking people around the grocery store, wherever you are. And if you are going to do that, I would advise shopping at like Whole Foods or, somewhere not Piggly Wiggly. You're going to find, although you never know what you're going to run into.
There's some money at Piggly Wiggly, man.
There might be some money at Piggly Wiggly. You don't think, Spivey?
Do not hate on Piggly Wiggly.
That was not a shot at the pig, man. I love Piggly Wiggly. I don't know why you got to get so sensitive about it. Three.
Maybe Aldi. Maybe stay away from the Aldi.
Maybe stay away from the scratch and dent sale. Although one of the biggest annuities that a teammate of mine ever wrote was a guy that ended up having, it was a farmer, and he ended up having like 60 grand under his bed in cash. And came out and was just like,
don't
just
judge
trying
a
to
book by
hand
the
it to
cover,
him. They're
right?
like, no. That ain't how this works. Can't hand me the 60 grand. Jordan Howell, the top DFL producer. Maybe Aldi's a good hot spot for DFL production. Did you ever think of that? Marketing geniuses. Top new writers in the base: Marty and Jeremy, Jacob and Scott in the directs. And top SNAs were Joe Martinez and Sarah Reinecke. Well done. Top SNAs on the direct side. My whale came out real country. Did you hear that? Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell and Scott Summers, all with 3. A lot of people with 2 there as well. All right, Landry Peterson, I'm going to call on you to announce our season new agents for the week, and you have to do it in rapid fire. Let's see how good you are.
Last name's fine, right?
Last names are fine.
Okay, last names. All right. So we have Marquez, King, Martinez, Royce, Wyatt, Hamdani, Carruthers, Crampton, Kirk, Turner, Gibson, Hall, Stanish, Shelton, Breland, Byer, Zokos, Crowley, Hurd, Hardy, Elliott, and Sheave.
Not bad. Bad, Landry.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you like a 98 on correctness, I think.
Okay.
You're not as fast as Brandon, but Brandon gets sloppy sometimes.
I will get sloppy. Sometimes you got to slow down if you want accuracy, and
That's right.
I'm more of an efficiency guy. Let's just get this thing done, you know. I'm
good.
not sure on the Roos if you got that one right, and I'm not sure if it's Shiv or Shive. We're gonna have to go to the judges table on those 2. But other than that, I think not bad.
Well done.
Top key leaders for the week: Jonathan Daly, Wesley Ingbrecht is the top recruiter, and Sue Hinojos with 2 new writers. Well done. Top AOs, the Susie, Christy Miller with the top recruits with 7, and Jamie Susie also with the top new writers with 4. Agency directors is Sarah Reinecke with 115,000, Larry and Ann Griffin with 20 recruits, and Ben Sivapur tied with Sarah Reinecke for 5 first-time writers.
Nice.
Well done.
Nice.
Yeah. Eileen Balmer is the top regional agency director. Mike Casey is the top recruiter, and Esther Carlson and Marty Valor are both tied with 5 for the new writers. Chris Cook barely beats Marlon Faulkner, and Faulkner's probably kicking himself right now. He had that one policy that he could have written on himself, and he didn't do it. Nobody blame but yourself there, Faulkner. 27 recruits, though, and 5 first-time writers. Well done, Cook. Hit the turkey leg there.
Nice.
Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell, top, where are we? Senior vice president. Scott Mank, top recruiter. And Scott Summers, the top new writer. Sean Shannon on the executive vice president board. Sean Shannon and Miranda Martin with 4. Well done. Associate partner Lynn Watkins also hitting for the turkey leg. Good weeks by many of you, though. Easy Eddie Pritchett cresting 1 million, 59 recruits, and 17 new writers. It's a good week. Marshall Whalen with 994,000, 109 recruits, and 22 first-time writers.
Nice.
On the directs board, Jacob Pogue, turkey leg. Well done, sir. You think Jacob's numbers have started to go up after he's been pounding Phil-Freeze? He bought a case of them.
It certainly looks that way.
Yes. He's just ready to talk to recruits all day when you're feeling free. Scott Forehand, number 1 on the base. Mark Newbauer on the recruits, and Jeremy Whitaker and Marty Valor with the new writers. Well done. You ready to see some big numbers? Hold on to your hats. Here we go. Bam. It's like to study these.
Almost $1 million this month. Just in
study
equity.
these for a little bit here. That's some high dollar activity right there, Marshall Whalen. Well done. Manzano, the top capital bonus earner. Susie and Reineke up next. Top producer, Alton Reif, Grrr, and Hirschfield. Well done, everybody.
Nice.
You know, we need in there is some slingshot numbers too. Those would be big.
Those are coming, I
Start
think.
updating that.
Yep.
Over $1 million in bonuses paid out for the month of June.
Not including slingshot.
Not including slingshot.
Very
Right.
nice.
Look here. Here's I think the tone for the rest of our section before we go over to Frank is we're going to focus on conference and coming into conference strong. How do you come into conference strong? You get a lot more leads than you're currently taking, or at least more leads than you're currently taking. You have more activity than you're currently putting out so that you can come in having written more applications than you have. If you're not getting the leads that you need, pay attention. Get a license in one of these areas. You can get some leads here: Louisiana, Illinois, Alaska, Iowa, North Dakota, Mississippi, West Virginia. If you're old school, you want to take a travel trip, I personally would recommend North Dakota. I think it's beautiful this time of year. And then the second piece to this is if you don't like doing things the old analog way, then jump on into the digital game here and get you some Razor Ridge leads. The data is looking great, Casey. The Facebook page is blowing up. Here's some great testimonials. Loving the switchboard and Razor Ridge leads, $4,752, 2 families helped with life insurance, 3 more apps still to write on one of the families. First Razor Ridge win for the week. The whole family is now protected. 4 apps, $6,466. Listen, look at this one down here. Smaller numbers, but my favorite one. Another lead for the win. Lead came in at 405. Application was signed and done at 445 for $1,300.
Awesome.
Frank, what do you think about that, man? What are you seeing? What are you most excited about too? I mean, with you know, you guys been doing the whole switchboard thing for a while, but I was talking to an agent. It was John Ziller Monday, had 2 agents. I think he said 2 agents, somewhere around $7,000, $7,500 in production. Didn't have to make 1 outbound call for the week, assuming until it's time to like run the appointment, write the business.
Yeah, speed to lead, and we have no ceilings anymore, right? With mortgage protection, we'd be like, oh, the house is 300,000, so that's where we're going. With these leads, these people are buyers. They're ready to go, and it's just, you know, the sales skills that come in and meeting them where they're at, and voila, it's incredible. I'm wow.
I know, I'm loving it, man. Average premium on these digital leads up from about 1,100 to closer to 1,500 also, which is right where you want to be. So if you need leads, or if you just want leads and you're not getting as many as you would like to have massive activity, jump on the Razor Ridge train. You won't regret it. You got to have a switchboard account. Now close to 1,100 switchboard users. More exciting announcements coming at conference on that. Once you're in switchboard, you'll see a Razor Ridge banner ad promoting the digital lead orders. Just click on that sucker. You're gonna have to set up your Razor Ridge account to order your leads. And once those leads start coming in, they're gonna show up directly in switchboard, okay? Jump on the trainings, just engage. And you too could potentially go out and write $7,000 without having to make any outbound calls. Frank, you're a really big believer in the no outbound calling as well. You've kind of told me that. And I gotta be honest with you, for the first couple of conversations, I was like, man, you're full of it. It sounds way too good to be true. It did sound way too good to be true. Because we used to actually joke about this, Casey, in a meeting. The only way these leads could get any better is if they would call you. Now I'll be danged if they're not calling you.
Yeah, seems to be happening more and more these days.
Frank, give him a little testimonial, man. Like, what is that feeling like when the very first leads that you're getting start actually calling you or self-booking on your calendar, or like, what do you do with all this free time?
You build, you recruit. Man, that's what it's all about, right? We need more I know we don't like to say distributors, but we do. We need more people out there. And we need them to impact more lives, man. I mean, the cool thing is when they're calling you, it's a different tone. If you think about it for a second, it's no longer you asking them to validate. It's they called, they're ready. Welcome to the digital world. It's crazy.
What a great time to be alive.
Yep.
What a great time.
Crazy part of all of this is leads, the lead part of the business, the software and application part with Switchboard is we're still in beta. Like all of this stuff is just going to get better. It's going to get better and it's going to continue getting better. So just this stuff being in the beta aspect of things, not necessarily Razor Ridge, but Switchboard. That's why everyone needs to be at conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll get to that in just a second. You're exactly right. But I think backing up to our theme, jump on this Razor Ridge train. If you haven't gotten your first set, go for the BOGO. Results are going to vary like they will with any lead. Some people absolutely love them and refuse to work anything else because they're delivered so quickly the way they want. But look, there's right now, this will be the first week that we touch 2,000 leads allocated through Razor Ridge in a week. We are still confident that we can boost that to 20,000 leads a week. So managers, agents, like activity is still the name of the game. Get as many of these suckers as you can so that when you're rolling into conference mid-August, you're on an all-time high. That's the biggest advice I can give you.
Yep.
And these things are cooked up for you when you buy them. It's not like they're being resold, right? They're cooked up for you specifically.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I saw somebody was saying something the other day that somebody was advertising $15 digital leads or something. They looked into it and they go to 5 to 10 people at the same time. That's what's on the market. So that's why you kind of have to be careful and get these things validated, because that ain't the game we're trying to play. So, Mr. Williamson.
You got it. All right. Agency, strategy, alignment, and execution coaching group. Strategy answers the question, how do we win? Alignment answers the question, are we winning with the right goal in mind, right? Are we aligned to a good direction? And execution is like, hey, do we have what it takes in the tank to actually win? Tim O'Neill is a professional EOS implementer and a Symmetry coach. Tim is an absolute winner. A lot of our leaders, and I know it even at the executive level, will attest to that. And so if you're a 110, 115, this is targeted toward you to make a strategic investment in your business to be able to learn key EOS tools that have helped us win and that will help you actually win in your business. So hop on to coaching or send an email to coaching@quility.com. You can go to HQ under training, under Symmetry coaching to get connected. And it's actually already launched, but we wanted to open the window a little bit more because we didn't communicate the best on this. So hop on board there if you are looking to really make that investment into really the structure of your agency and how you can execute better.
I like it. Well done, B-Dubs.
Tim is awesome. We work with Tim personally, Brandon and I, and like you said, pretty much the whole executive team. He handles a lot of our ROCS meetings. And man, he's an excellent resource for learning how to, really execute your plan. And drive revenue into your business, drive results. So I would leverage this for sure.
I would too. Totally agree. A couple of events upcoming tomorrow. Forrester's The Niche Market Strong Foundation Term is now even stronger, and DFLIVIN on Tuesday next week, all leading up to the Big Daddy, reimagine2022.com. If you haven't registered, what are you waiting for? Maybe you've not been paying attention and you're like, oh, there's a conference this year. Yep, there is. And we really want you to be there. You will love it. It's in Denver, Colorado, August 17th and 19th. And very important note here, the hotel room blocks close this Friday, 7/29. So if you're wanting the discounted rate, you need to book your room. Do not wait. There won't be any more available at the discounted rate after Friday. Book your rooms. How fired up are you about Rob Dyrdek?
Can't wait. I was listening to some interviews last night. and some podcasts he's on. It's gonna be killer.
It is going to be awesome. And I think you rolled this one out last week. A lot of people already had kind of semi-figured it out as you were talking about what the topics would be. And they were saying, man, I really hope it's Jeremy Minor. But there's a new one that we've got that I don't think you've announced yet, right? I was out last
No,
week.
we have not. So, Jeremy Minor is going to come in, and B-Dub, it's NEPQ, right? That's his kind of sales process, right?
That is correct. Neuro emotional persuasion questions. And that's the philosophy, but he is such a practical, as we're building the sales structure, we've got agents and Resman Ditson involved in that, and you as well. Very, very practical. It sounds all neuroscience-y, but man, it is neuroscience-y, but in a way that is incredibly practical.
I got on the first call as we were starting to dig into some of the scripting, and I just wanted to make sure, like, okay, you don't just turn the reins over to someone on the outside that doesn't really understand our clients, how our leads are generated. And within 2 minutes, I was like, yeah, this guy's got it. Totally gets it. But, at an extremely high level, this NEPQ technique is about creating less or no sales resistance.
Yeah.
And so how do you drive your close ratios up? All of that. That's what we're going to be digging in at our very first ever all hands sales training. This is not a specific breakout small. This is back in the theater in place of what would have been some breakouts. We are going to have Jeremy Minor for, I think, 45 minutes as a keynote for that day. But before Jeremy Minor gets up and tells us how to actually talk to our clients, and we're going to be the long-term view of all of this, guys, is that all of our switchboard scripting, all of our scripting, when we call our leads, is under review right now by Jeremy Minor and team. So they are reworking our scripts under our supervision. We're looking at making sure we're all kind of collaborating on them. But shortly after conference, you will start to see this new scripting come out, because Brandon, you and I always kind of used to say, like, people don't change, and they really don't. But in this case, like, from a client standpoint, the leads are being generated in a different way. A lot of times there's different product types that we're generating leads on. And people, as far as the consumer goes, have changed the way they interact with salespeople. And I would argue, and probably many of you would agree, that especially in the last few years, since virtual has become a thing. Right. And people are just used to continue to want things faster. We continue to be like evolving around those sales techniques that kind of create those sales, that resistance that we all hear on the phone. We know immediately, right, within just like a second of, if we're talking on the phone and it's kind of someone wanting to sell us something, right? So how do you create the opposite of that? And that's what Jeremy Minor is going to be focused on with us. But before that, let's talk about client engagement. Let's actually talk about, how do we get in touch with our clients? How important is it to get in touch with our clients at a certain speed? And so we've brought in another industry expert on client engagement, and that is Mr. Chris Smith. He wrote a book called The Conversion Code. He's written a couple other books as well. Same thing, Brandon and I, we have TikToks on our phone. TikTok accounts, I guess you could call them. We try to limit ourselves, but we do find some value in TikTok, because we do end up uncovering some people like Jeremy Minor and Chris Smith with some extremely good content that is so fitting. Brandon and I are constantly sharing stuff back and forth, like, this is the message, this is it, this is what we need. And Chris Smith has it nailed as far as what we're dealing with, the transformation that we're all working on right now together. Jeremy Minor and Chris Smith are going to help lead us the way into that. So very excited to have Chris Smith on stage with us. So that will be the 30-40 minutes before Jeremy Minor on day 2, right, Ryan?
Yes, sir. It'll be Chris Smith has about 30 minutes that morning, followed by Jeremy. So that whole flow, man, it's just going to pop, integrated with the switchboard product rollout. And I say rollout, right? We 1,100, did you say? are
I
using
think
it.
we're pushing 1,100 this week, maybe
Crazy.
420 next week. But
So good, so good.
I think post-conference, we're looking at plan is onboarding upwards of 200 a day.
Outstanding.
I'm just really excited about both of these guest trainers because it just feels like everyone in the industry is kind of stuck using, sales systems from the 80s and 90s and 2000s. And it's a different landscape right now. And I think we're early in this in a good way. Just excited to kind of roll up our sleeves together. There's a lot of transformation to go through over the next couple of years with all of you guys, but we want to make sure we're getting the best in class to help us through that, and to help us really be the tip of the spear in this regard too, as far as we need to reimagine what sales is. And that's the purpose of bringing in guys like Miner and Chris Smith.
Yeah. Well said. Looking forward to it. It's going to be really good. Also got a block party going. I think we maybe made this announcement already, but really looking forward to partying in the streets of Denver, kind of blocking it off, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot
Real
of
fun.
How would you dress as a block party attendee? Frank, how are you going to dress as a block party attendee?
I don't know if I'm allowed to give that information, but
That's fair.
it's going to be it's not me though. It's the entire Kimbrough hierarchy. And I don't know if I don't think he asked, I don't think I got his approval. So let's just say it's going to be fun.
Fair enough. That's fair. Are you guys coming in like kid and play house party themed, or that'd be cool? But this is a block party, so I just want to, if you are, just probably need to mix it up a little bit.
I was sworn to secrecy.
All right, can't pull anything. It's in the vault. Can't get it out of there, Casey. We're giving away some. We're giving away some sweets. By the way, are you gonna pull out your kissing booth contest or your kissing booth costume?
Maybe
that you had. How's it going that year? Yeah. You might want to get it from a different purveyor this time. It kind of fell apart on you a little bit.
Kind of did fall apart. Wasn't a great costume.
Right. Here's some team leader. So these are suite upgrades, right? And right now the number one team leader, Dwayne Upchurch with 26. Susie Self's right there though. I wouldn't count Susie out. There's one thing I know about Susie. She's gonna fight to the end. I can promise you that. Amy Anderson and Amanda Tormer are just like neck and neck. Heather Morrow, Amanda Rudloff, everybody's right there. John Paul, however, has jumped out to a little bit of a lead. I wouldn't count Sue or Jamie Susie out, or even Geoff, but I'm just saying.
Right.
He's got it.
This is just as a reminder, it's a suite upgrade, right?
This is
free
a
upgrade.
Free suite upgrade. You got it.
That's right.
Sarah Reinecke off to a good start here.
Nice.
Ashley Tarr, overall base shot promoter. Wouldn't count Reinecke out of that one though. This is just in the base. Or Jimenez. Jacob Pogue with 287 is the overall direct promoter.
Shoot, I wouldn't count anyone out this close to conference. Numbers are going to start going like this right now.
Yeah, they've been known to sandbag for these type of events for sure. And then I think you probably announced this last week also. There's a VIP contest that is kind of like in place of our last minute contest, July 9th through August 5th. So only like another couple of weeks or week and a half really on this one. But you get the VIP treatment, which means black car service to and from the airport, front row seating, and VIP treatment. Front row is good here. It's not like an old Gallagher show where you got to worry about getting hit with watermelon or anything. Like you're safe. You want to be on the front row here. And
right,
it's going to be a good one. So I would be fighting for this. And it's going to go to the top 5 producers, plus the number 1 in each level of leadership category in this last minute contest. Here's our top 5 so far. Hallie Walker, Sean Hogue, Gerald Robert Dunn, Joshua Kean, Jennifer Swigert. All right, let's see. Here's our top 3 key leaders. You can only take the number 1. DJ is in there for the top AO. Top agency director right now is the third baseman, Ryan Federico. And here's our rad picks, Menifee. That's a close one right there. Don't rest, Menifee. That's a close one. Griff Martin sits atop the MVP board. Scott Mank sitting atop the SVP board. Darren Stubbs, Carl Miller. Look how close that one is. I can't believe Ryan's going to just sit back and take that from your brother. Not cool, man. Jacob Pogue, off to a good lead. Marshall Wayland in the top MP. And that's it.
Nice.
So what advice,
Hey.
Casey, last second advice that you can give? This is important advice on how to get the last little surge, last few people to conference.
Man, for what you and I always did, you know, kind of in that, especially in that early zone, was we just talked about it a lot. You know, we talked about, we're very intentional about pulling the teams together, making sure everyone was focused on coming in on a high from a personal production standpoint. And everyone was taking advantage of last minute text, personal phone calls to people on your team that are not registered for conference, and get them there, because there's nothing more valuable. There's no better ROI than picking up the phone and calling a Frank Brennis, who's a new agent, let's say, and who's not registered for conference, and saying, Frank, like, you know, didn't see your name on the registration list. Maybe I missed something. Or, hey, Frank, you know, how many people are you bringing with you to conference? Like, just kind of assume that Frank is going, you know, and Frank hits the done button because I made a personal call, and now Frank turns into $100,000 a month agency, and I got a 10-point override. That phone call is worth $10,000 a month of passive income. And that's if Frank doesn't grow, and Frank's going to grow. So it's like, you just have to, it all counts right now. And you definitely want to be coming in, not just with a bunch of people sitting next to you, but with your team on a high and you on a high as far as personal production goes.
Yep.
So, you know,
what about this, Casey? What do you say to the person that says they can't make it? Maybe finances are tight, something's come up, they're going to hit you at the next one.
Change that excuse into a reason. Can't afford it, I can't go. If it should be, you know, if you can't afford it, you have. That's why you should go. You know, and so you just have to kind of talk people into it. You know, sometimes you just gotta talk people into things. You know, we're all salespeople. So it's the same thing when you're talking and trying to influence someone on your team. You know, yeah, so it's that. And I would also just say, before we hop off, Brandon, don't forget, agency owners, we've heard you. We were not actually going to do a reserve section for agency owners. The theater, there's really not a bad seat in the house. That's the cool part about this Belco theater, is even if you're on the very back row, you're still very close to the stage, just because of the way the room fills, especially compared to like when we were in DC at the Gaylord, in that ballroom that held, you know, 4,000 of us, and it was like a mile back if you were in the back row. So no bad seat in the house. But for all of you AOs out there, we are going to switch things up a little bit and give you guys priority reserve seating, but that will be only reserved from 12 to 12:30. So it's the first 30 minutes when the doors open. There will be a reserve section for agency owners for you and a +1. After that 30 minutes is up, we're going to have to release it, open it back up, and fill in the gap. So if you're an agency owner and you want that priority seating, you better be there when the doors are ready to open, or at least in that first 30 minutes.
Yeah. And the reason we do that is because some AOs would rather sit somewhere else with their whole team, which is great. We love people to have that option, but we just don't want a lot or any kind of empty seats, or right in the middle of the key seating there. So, and
the last thing I would say, Brandon, is just, this is we're full bore behind the scenes working on conference, and man, this is the best conference by far we've ever had. It's been 3 years since we've been together. There is a lot of innovation, a lot of transformation going on. And so this is an extremely important conference for the direction we're going as a company. So I would just urge every single person on this line, if you're not registered, get registered. If you are registered, bring more people with you, because it's going to be a big one.
It is going to be a big one. And I would go ahead and start planning for the week of conference too. Again, theme being, how do I come in on an all-time high? One of the ways you come in is to get more people there with you, obviously, but also from a production standpoint, keeping in mind that many of you will be traveling on Wednesdays, if not Tuesdays, which may means you got to kind of shift your whole week back, right? Start planning for that now, get your leads early, whatever you've got to do, so that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you can get a whole week's worth of work in and not really miss out on anything. All right. We were late. There were a lot of slides though, Frank. You know what I mean? I do feel like that we could have done better. We could have cleaned it up, could have gone a little faster. I'll take some ownership in that. I think Brian Williamson really slowed us down a little bit there, but
you guys know here. I was going to say, Todd and I, you guys crushed. Todd and I had less information last week, and we took about this longer. So I'm actually feeling very defeated right now. Like I need to take my conference lessons. So sorry.
Right. Well, I didn't mean to pile on there. I was just kidding. You didn't really slow us down. Sorry. Frank, from your high rise in California, Casey and I've got to jump, but you know how much we appreciate you, man. It was so good seeing you in the office. I think that was just last week. And you've
might be Sean. It might be Sean that's kind of running the show today. Who's running the show?
Oh, is that right?
Sean?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh,
no.
All right.
Hi, Casey.
Step aside, Frank. Step aside.
Get out of the way, Frank.
Hey, I'm down. He's that's my direct, baby. I'm down.
I love it, man. Sean, sorry we jumped. We're 9 minutes into your time. Sorry about that, buddy.
No worries. Yeah,
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy. This is
Appreciate
somebody
you
you
guys.
want to listen to, man. Sean has been just an amazing producer, amazing builder, no stranger to, back in the day going out and writing 15, 20 grand in a week. So definitely somebody that you want to be paying attention to. Can't wait to see you, Sean.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon, Casey. I'll see you there.
Thank you guys.
All right. Hello, Symmetry Nation. My name is Sean Kim, and I am direct to Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell. Wanted to thank the founders, Brandon, Casey, and Brian, for creating this amazing company. And I also wanted to thank Todd Spivey for inviting me to host this call today. And I'm super fired up today to share my story of how I joined Symmetry and also introduce you to my special guest today. As you can see, Frank Brennis, regional agency director, and his brother, Stefan Branis, agency owner, and key leader, Landry Peterson. So today we're going to talk about the leap of faith and also talk about the importance of conference today. And we have all been there where you feel lost and feel overwhelmed with the financial and mental stress and can't see where I'm really headed. And I was in that same position when I found Symmetry, and would like to share my story real quick. So I'm originally from South Korea. Our family moved to America when I was 15 years old, and I come from a family of many doctors. So I believe that that's what I was supposed to do. And I got a scholarship to William and Mary. I majored in neuroscience, and I was trying to make some money. So I became a lab manager for a neuroscience lab, which was finding a cure for Alzheimer's disease. And my job entailed injecting rats, 6 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. at night before and after classes. So, and I only made $7 an hour. Isn't that crazy? And as a college student, there's, you want to hang out with friends, you need to make money. So I end up looking for a job, and my friend said, just go into Craigslist. Craigslist is where it's at. So when I went to Craigslist, I saw different jobs, but I didn't want to really, be a bartender or anything like that. And one ad stood out, and it said, if you want to make $10,000 a month, this is an opportunity for you, but it didn't say what it was. So I just showed up to the open house, and they said it was something called timeshare. And timeshare, I didn't know what timeshare was, because in Korea, they don't have timeshare. I was like, how do you sell time? That was my question I asked the recruiter. And he said that, no, we send families on more vacation so they can spend quality time. And coming from a family that was always, my dad was always busy, so not able to vacation, I was like, that's actually a pretty nice thing. So I was sold. After a week of training, I made my first $10,000 in timeshare. And I was like, wow, like this is easy money compared to injecting rats. That's what I thought. And I really got into it, and I end up making my first 100 grand in the business. And then I also met my fiance Amanda in the business as well. Everything was good until I started to realize to make more money, there was a pressure that we need to kind of bend the truth and things like that, and didn't really feel comfortable anymore. And really the kind of nail in the coffin was we couldn't, celebrate like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, or anything like that, because that's when all the people are vacationing, and that's when the timeshare was the busiest. And I was pretty much working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and just, working, making good money, but having no life. So Amanda and I prayed for it and said, would love to find maybe move to somewhere else, maybe look for another opportunity, but we just didn't know what that was. And we went a little vacation to Las Vegas, and we came here for like a 3-night, 4-day stay. And what we realized was not only on the Strip, but outside of the Strip, there was a big, community, and it was really diverse and also very young, generation. So we said, this would be a cool place to move to. And in a couple of months, we decided to move to Vegas. So we moved to Vegas with no family and friends. And we had enough money saved up. I wasn't really looking for a job. I was looking for a real estate opportunity. And one came up with a person that I met, and he said, yeah, we're going to be investing into a commercial real estate in an apartment complex. And so I invested over 100 grand into that business. And in that investment, it ended up being an elaborate scam. So I lost over 100 grand overnight, and they were going around different states doing that and disappear. So I was so embarrassed, so upset. I just felt like, I was so naive, and I had to pay my bills. I had to pay my debt and everything. So I went back to the only place I know where to find a job, and it was Craigslist again. And most of the jobs were like telemarketing jobs, a lot in the sales section. And I didn't want to do that. And once you make, $150,000, $200,000, kind of your quality of life change a little bit. So cost of living and everything. So I didn't want to do that. One had stood out to me, and it didn't say what it was again, but it said, if you're good with people, if you like helping families, and if you're good at sales, you can make 15, 20 grand a month. And I was like, wow, that sounds great. And I give a call, and that ended up being Symmetry Financial Group. And the gentleman that called me, his name is Ron Krieger. Rest in peace. He passed away of kidney failure like 3 years ago. And that's how I joined and learned about Symmetry. So when I got in, first thing they said was, you got to get your license and everything. I was like, man, I have no money. I have no money to even get a license and everything, but I wanted to do this. So I get my license in about 3 weeks or so. And now the biggest thing was, he talked about conference. And he talked about this national conference happening in North Carolina. And I'm in Las Vegas. So this is across the continent. And then when you have no money, how are you going to pay for the plane ticket, right? And everything. And they said, okay, so we got the ticket for you. You don't have to pay for the actual conference ticket, but you need to just fly here. So I buy my ticket a couple of days before conference, and I just go take that leap of faith. When I was in the connection flight, the flight was canceled. So I was 9 hours late to North Carolina. It was crazy. And then when I got there, I realized I don't have a room. And my upline at the time, Ron, says, hey, you can come and stay with me in my hotel room. I was like, okay. And now I found that he has a roommate, and there was only two twin bed. And I had to sleep in between the twin beds on the hotel floor. That's how journey started. But next day I go into the conference hall, and there's hundreds of thousands of people in there. And it was so weird. Everybody seemed so happy, and they were like smiling. I was like, this is weird. Everybody looks so happy. And then I kind of got over that, and now the conference started. Then I look at the top agency owners, top producers on the stage. And there was like Ed Pritchett on it, Marshall Whalen, Tony Capistrano, Miranda Martin. And I just realized that, they're white, Black, Asian, Hispanic, female, male, bartender, teacher, engineer. It didn't matter. Like, everybody came from a different walks of life and background, but they were successful here. So I realized that this is a company that I really want to plant my flag and just do my best. And that's how I started with this, with this company. So I realized that a lot of people on this call who may not made that decision yet to say, you know what, let me just go. And I know financial stress, there's a lot. And at that moment, if I were to go back to that time, I would have been still super afraid knowing all this now, because I just had no money in my bank account, right? But if you are on the fence, I highly encourage you to make that decision today, because it might be a life-changing experience for you. And maybe this is your home, right? And then what I want to do now is I want to bring on some of the special guests in my agency. And first is Landry Peterson, who is the key leader in the Kim agency. And as you saw it on the leaderboard, he has done $650,000 of annuity in just one day. And he comes from New York Life. He was a partner over there, which is equivalent to an agency owner. And he gave up a big salary and bonus there, that security, to come here. So I'm just so excited to have Landry share his story. Landry, are you on the line?
I am, yep.
Yeah, Landry, if you can share a little bit of backgrounds of where you come from and what you did before, that'll be awesome.
Sure, yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Landry Peterson, direct to Sean Kim. And I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. I have a wife and 3 kids. I was with New York Life for almost 6 years before this, 5 years as an agent. And then 1 year, the last year, as a partner. And he said equivalent to an agency owner. The biggest difference is I was no longer able to sell, whether it was a policy on my wife or anybody. I was no longer able to write business. So I just felt like I had kind of hit a ceiling there. And then just, I didn't own my book of business, anything like that. So for those reasons, I kind of started looking around to see what was out there, not really thinking that I would make any kind of switch in my career, but I just kind of wanted to learn and see what was out there. So I looked at a lot of different companies. I found Symmetry through some LinkedIn post and was interested in it. And I give myself a pat on the back for how I went about it. But I knew there was all these different postings with Symmetry, and I knew that I wanted to talk to somebody that has had some, success in the business. So what I did was I found any number I could find of a Symmetry agent in the Las Vegas area. I still don't even know to this day. I can't remember who that was. But I called them and I said, hey, I was supposed to be talking to someone from Symmetry. I can't remember what their name was, but I know that they were the top agent in Las Vegas. And she said, oh yeah, that's Sean Kim. I say, okay, yeah, I need his number. I met with Sean. I just feel like he's very genuine and professional. And I went from not really thinking I was going to make any jump to, after an hour with him, like, how soon can I get started with this? Wanted to build something that I knew was going to build for the future, that I could always own. And met with Sean and joined about almost a year and a half ago now. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Landry. I still remember it like it was yesterday. And when I met you, there was just, I could tell you're a very genuine person too, and you're motivated, a little frustrated with where you were. And I think that I'm just so grateful to have you on our team. And I just would love for you to share how the first conference, so it wasn't a national Symmetry conference, but it was a Kimbrell Master Agency conference out in Newport Beach that we did, about 200 people there. So tell me how did it make it happen? And it was kind of a crazy journey there, right?
Yeah, it was. It was something I knew was on the calendar. I wanted to make it, and I just had a lot of, you can say excuses, but I felt like they were pretty legitimate, and was traveling, and I had to be back in Vegas for a family event. And I just kind of told Sean a few days before, like, man, I really honestly would love to go, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And what made me go is Sean was devastated when I told him, man, I'm not going to be able to make this happen. It surprised me that he, felt that way. And he was just like, I'm telling you, you need to be here. It's going to be great for your business. It's going to change your business. And I just believed him, and talked with another agent here in Las Vegas, Marcus Galari, one of the top agents here. And we said, last minute, this was the night before, we're in Vegas. The conference is in Newport Beach, about 4-hour drive. And me and Marco just made the decision to make it happen. I picked him up at 4 a.m., I think it was. And we made it just in time for conference to start. And, within the first 20 minutes, hearing from some top producers like Chris Leak and John Foot, those guys just really opened my vision. And we left that conference just with a whole new mindset and with a lot of new tools. And I would say the rest is history. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Landry. And it's just the beginning for you. You're a key leader, and we're on track to get you to AO by the end of this year. So I'm excited to have you at the conference. This time we don't have to pull any teeth. You already booked your hotel and everything.
It's been booked for a long time.
Yeah, and I think we have like 6 or 7 people coming from your agency too. So very, very excited for that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Landry.
Yep.
All right, and let's go to Mr. El Guapo, we call him, Stefan Branis. He's kind of like a Hollywood star, and he had a very successful business catering for Hollywood, especially Modern Family, making good money, only working small amount of hours in a short period of time. And he decided to join his brother, Frank Brennis, to come into this business full time. I'm very proud of him and would love for you to share your story too, Stefan. Are you on?
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Sean. And first and foremost, I want to thank the founders, all the equity partners that paved the way for us. Thank you so much. We're forever grateful. And just to be able to contribute to be on this call is an honor. So thank you so much, Casey, Brandon, and Brian Pope, Todd Spivey. I'm Director Frank Brennis. I'm out of Burbank, California. And prior to Symmetry, I was doing craft service in the motion picture industry, not catering, for about 13 years. And I did end up on a pretty popular show, like Sean mentioned. At that point, I had a little bit of time, but I was always trading my time for dollars, right? And, as you get older, you realize that, what can I do to not do that, right? I envisioned myself pushing a cart. I also had a business that was generating income as well, but it still required me to be there. And a few things happened. My brother got laid off. And so we went to a practice company, and we went to convention, and it was awesome. And we were lit up. We were just like, we're going to do this. We're so fired up, right? I mean, it was an amazing convention. They do such a good job, our practice company. So as I was working full time, I noticed that my brother was crushing every single number. I mean, just smashing it, but wasn't making any money. And I just walked in the office one day. Again, I'm working 6 to 8 hours a week. And, I saw him, he just looked defeated. I'm like, oh, we got to do something, Frank. We got to do something, brother. I could tell he was defeated, And he seeked out Sean Kim. We saw an ad in the paper. The next day we were out there. We saw Sean Kim. We saw him do his appointments. And I'm like, Sean, let me see your bank account, man. I mean, I'm not going to get duped again. It's not going to happen, right? So if we're going to choose something, we're going to plant our flag and we're going to go for it, right? And sure enough, he showed me his bank account. I'm like, this is real. So that's all I needed to see. And what my takeaways are this, guys. The topic is leap of faith. Is you have to, what conference does is it gives you, number one, write this down, belief. All right. So without belief, nothing is possible. With belief, everything is possible. So I'd say, most people that don't make it here is obviously mentorship, but they need to have a belief. And with belief comes conviction. And that's what conference does. Number two, connections. the connections you make, talking to Sean Kim, talking to Marshall Whalen, shaking his hand, Ed Pritchard, which I met in Vegas, I met him before, all the giants, Ryan Miller, you name them, getting to know them, asking them questions, you'll see that the company people are genuine here. It's not this facade. It's not a smokescreen. It's real. So connection associations are number 3. What I noticed with the practice company is we had all this energy, like we're going to crush it. We're going to go out there and crush it. And then there's no vehicle, right? There's no way of getting there. So that's the big missing gap. With Symmetry Financial and Quility, we have the fuel, we have the vehicle, we have all the tools, especially now with Switchboard. So we have an action plan. And, that conference high, you can literally apply it. So there's application, there's how to do it. And that's why it's so important to go to conference. I can't stress this enough. It's the single most important decision you can make when you start your career. You can literally see people, it gives you that belief where you see someone that maybe doesn't speak as good English as you or doesn't look like you, or, you feel like it just gives you that belief. And it all starts with belief, guys. And obviously, you're going to get to know the founders, the culture, and so forth. So I'd say it's a non-negotiable. You look at all the, all the big people in this company. It's all about conference. And, matter of fact, the other day I had an agent say, hey, I'm not going to go until I make money. I'm like, well, you got to make deposits first before you withdraw. I think Ryan Miller was on our call the other day, and I stole that from you, Ryan. So, just like you got to plant the seed before you can get the fruit, right? And it's a process, guys. It's not a job, right? It's a business, but it's a business model where you can literally make money from day one and you can build a legacy. And that's one of the main reasons I made the switch, because I didn't want to trade my time for dollars anymore. Previously to that, I was working in the medical device field, and then I got laid off. I was doing medical laboratory sales, selling doctors, and I got laid off there. And my friend brought me into the motion picture industry. How do you get in that industry? To answer your question, well, you got to know somebody. And I was fortunate enough to know someone and get into business. So, but at the end of the day, guys, there is no other business model, no other company that's going to give you time and money, but most importantly, impact. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're not feeling like you're giving back, you're not impacting people, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, the legacy, what did you do for other people? How did you help other people? And that's why I love Symmetry, and I'm honored to be a part of this movement. I call it a movement, guys. So get out there, get your ticket. It's a non-negotiable. If you're going to invest your time into something, make sure you check it out, inspect it. And I promise you, someone will say something to you that's going to hit home. But if you don't go, you're going to miss out on that. And that is the number one reason why people quit in this business, because they don't go to big events. So I think I'm a little under time.
Stefan, thank you. You really nailed it. And I remember when you and Frank joined the first conference at Gaylord Hotel in DC. And I think that, Frank just became an AO in 4 months of starting this. And I think that really kind of lit a big fire in the agency. And look at the agency now doing $250,000 on a monthly basis. Yeah, so glad to have you on the team. And, I'm looking forward to you getting to, producing agency owners. I know you're working on that. So,
Thank you,
awesome,
Sean.
brother.
Thank you guys for the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And last but not least, Mr. Frank Brennis, we call him the Latin Lion. He's a regional agency director out of Los Angeles, and he is one of the founders of Switchboard. And I want to make sure he gets the credit, because I remember during COVID, there was some, very difficult, situation in our business, and it came from that. So Frank, this was your idea, and I want to make sure that you can kind of share that story too. But if you can share your background on how you joined Symmetry, that would be great, Frank.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. Again, my name is Frank Brennis. I am direct to the animal, Sean Kim. his nickname because he is an animal, by way of obviously Mr. Kyle Kimbrell, Mr. Lisa and Kyle Kimbrell, and all the way up Ashley Tarr, Danny Young, Brian Pope, Brandon and Casey. Thank you so much, guys, for having me on. It really is an honor, guys, and I don't take it lightly. To ask people, if you're going to go to conference and you having to sell them on it is interesting, because think about this for a second. Your life today is going to be radically different in the next 3 months, 6 months to a year. That's where we're heading. So my background is I was a vice president of an ad tech company, and was working. I was doing a lot of consulting, and then on and off, I would be back and forth getting hired, but I didn't have that, how do I say, that employee type of mindset. That just was not us. That's not my brother. It's not me. It's not my father. We're entrepreneurs at heart. And, but it was a blessing how everything happened. I know that life happens for you. I know that, God's got a plan. And that plan came to me in 16, we had purchased a home. And in 2017, being, rising to the top as a vice president, adversity hit, and it struck in the form of basically losing my job, making over, $200,000, and, asking to be a team player because a company had merged, and going, okay, no problem. Let's talk about this team player. But the only team there was them saying you had to take a reduced salary, like incredibly reduced salary, $45,000. So I said, kind of run that by me again. You know what I mean? Like, what? And I tell people, I kid around, but I mean it. I said, I did what every great husband does and not tell his wife, kind of that stuff. And, but, one thing about your life partner and your wife, that I could say was they're very perceptive. And that night, I was tossing and turning, we just purchased this home. Dad had given us a little bit of money to put money down on it. I didn't want to lose it. And so I was at kind of the crossroads. Either me fly out to San Francisco, I'm originally from Los Angeles, or fly out to Chicago or New York to get a tech job, because that's where all the vice presidents and these tech hubs were at the time. And I just couldn't do that. I didn't want to leave my wife. I didn't want to leave my family. And that was something that just was non-negotiable. I wasn't going to negotiate on that. So one day, my wife, she does hair for celebrities, and she had a friend over, which was a mother's friend, okay? And this lady kept coming over to me saying, hey, what would happen if you were to pass away? What would happen in this house? I'm like, well, we'd be screwed. Like, what do you mean what would happen? And she's like, great, I want to work up some options for you. I said, absolutely. I think I have like 200,000 with State Farm or something like that. I'm like, can you get that to me like probably in a couple of days? And I'll definitely look into that. But those couple of days turned into 2-3 months out, where she was trying to call me, but she was trying to get me to go to her office. And I was like, I told my wife, I said, babe, what do you know about this lady? She's like, oh, she's been in Amway. She's been in all these things. She's trying to get you over there. I go, well, can you like talk to her? Like, and she goes, well, I mean, you talk to her, you tell her. And I just didn't have the heart to basically tell her no. So I ended up going. My wife says, before you go, just let me know. I love you. Number one, she said to me. Number two, you are not signing up for anything. So I came back. She looks at me. She goes, you did? I said, yeah, I did. So I was part of the insurance MLM movement. Okay. And I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I knew I was in the right race, but I was in the wrong horse. And 11 months later, I should have took the 45,000, because that entire 11 months, I made less than $31,000. So again, another crossroad, right? Life happens for you. And I get on one thing that came out of all this, and I think for everyone listening, is that your market matters. We had something that they had there was called the macho market, which is married. They had assets, they had children, they had homeowners. These are people you want to focus on. Guess what our leads are, right? So I went out and scoured the internet. I found a couple companies. I set out my fillers out. And then about a week later, I get a hold of Sieun Kim. He gives me a call. And pretty much after hearing him, I mean, Sieun was being very intentional too. It wasn't like he was like, yeah, you know, you can do what you want to do. He was challenging me. And he said, Frank, he goes, the reason why you won't succeed anywhere else, my personal belief, is because the quality of the leads here. And he went into the macho market without even knowing. And I was like, man, if this isn't God talking to me right now, not that Sieun, God, but I was like, that's not God whispering in my ear. Like, I don't know what else is. And that week is when Stefan was saying, let's go to Vegas and let's visit this Sieun Kim character, right? And it turns out the rest is history. This is exactly what happened. And in the midst of it all, Sean's like, hey, we're pretty much, I was broke. I'm going to be honest, I was broke. He's like, hey, they got this conference. This is February. They got this conference in April. We should go. I'm like, where? He's like, DC. I'm like, bro, I've never even been to DC. I think I've only been to Miami. That's where my family's from. Like, they're out there, right? He's like, no, you got to go to DC. Well, what is this thing? He's like, it's just, you got to go. I'm like, I've been to these things. They're smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of fluff. But then he goes, no, Frank, it's different. You got to go. So I got another credit card and we put it on the credit card. I told my partner in crime, Stefan, I said, hey, brother, you're coming with me. He's like, let's go, man. Let's do this. So we shared rooms. We went there. And let me tell you, it was the most amazing experience in terms of business that I've ever been to. Literally, the difference was you're getting fed from the top. You're seeing it in person and you're taking notes. One thing that I noticed right away, it wasn't smoking mirrors. It wasn't it. What it was literally you're in class and you're learning and you're getting self-development. You're getting all kinds of stuff. I walked away. I think that year, Sean, we did 1.2 million. Not myself, the team. And literally this pin that I have here was my first year here. And I love it, but I want to get another one, but I love it. This represents the hard work, the dedication of the team, and then of the persistency that we were there. And let me tell you guys aren't competing against Frank Brennis, Sieun Kim. Your competition is the status quo. Remember that. Your competition is the status quo. So that leads me to this. Will you go to an event that is going to build you and make you better, or are you going to let the status quo beat you? Remember that. My life today is radically different than my life when I was defeated at the practice company. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Are you going to allow the status quo to beat you again? Or are you going to do something different? You're going to pick up whatever it is, whatever it takes, because winners leave clues, and go out there and purchase that ticket. And by the way, I'm gonna even make it sweeter. Stefan's got a story. Okay, he directed one of these shows. So if you see us there, that gives you more of an opportunity to hear this wild story, how he directed. I can't talk about it. You're gonna have to ask him. All right. God bless you guys. Thank you, Sean. God bless.
Yeah, Frank. It's just so crazy how quickly it seems like the time has gone by. It just feels like, yesterday that we first talked and we started talking about this. And I just wanted to share something with the people here. I believe in divine appointment. I don't believe in just a coincidence. And I told you about I was pre-med studying neuroscience. I actually went to Nicaragua and Costa Rica for a month each to serve there in the poorest part of the community. In Nicaragua, it's called La Chureca, meaning the dump. Trash is so high that it covers the sky and you can't even see the sun. That's how poor that community was. Barefooted, no running water, no roof. I was there. I delivered a baby. I helped clients with their health needs and everything like that for free for a month. And out of all the countries, I went to Nicaragua, right? And I meet Frank. I talked to him on the phone, and he goes like, "I'm originally from Nicaragua," and I was like, "Wow, like this is, I mean, it has to be God sent, right?" And from there, I know Frank and Stefan was a brother of mine, and we worked hard. We pulled all-nighters to get Frank to agency owner, Stefan to AO, and it just is such an honor to be in this business together. And I'm looking forward to how much more success that you're going to be having in this business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you, everyone. I would love to see you at conference. If you do come to conference, say hi. We'd love to meet everyone there. And it changed my life. It changed Frank's life, Stefan's life, Landry's life. And I'm hoping that this will be the event that will change your life. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Just huge props to Sean and team. Sean's been an individual, I think you just saw, guys, that leads with intent, leads with his heart. He is just as genuine and authentic in person as he is on camera. And so we just can't thank you so much, Sean, and especially to the Brennis brothers and all the innovation that you're bringing to this company, the heart and soul, the long hours that you poured in. Frank, Stevens, thank you so much, guys, for what you're doing to lead not just your own agencies and yourselves into the future, but an entire company with you. And so grateful for that. And Landry, nice to meet you, my friend. Great job on the leaderboards. Congratulations, everybody. We'll see you next week.